What's up, guys? What is going on? What's up, I-90 Sports Nation? What up, guys? What's up, Boston Sports Nation? What's up, Chicago Sports Nation? What is going on? Once again, we have our very special guest along with us, Ross, and he pulled up in a interesting vehicle today. I think it's the official vehicle of the New York Yankees this afternoon. What's up, Ross?
Trash Yankees. Go home and cry about your 26 championships. Go home and cry.
Sugar ain't gonna like that.
Great show.
Hell yeah!
Again, we're today's going to be an interesting day. We're gonna look at a lot of Chicago interesting things in the news today. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we got a packed show in order for today. We got a bunch of stuff we're gonna go over. It's gonna be a good show. So let's dive right into it, man. We're gonna start off with my guy over here and his Chicago Bears. First of all, let's just start off with the initial thoughts of the Bears and Lions and how you felt about it.
Oh man. Well, there was a lot to that game with the Lions. There was quite a bit there's quite a bit to the Detroit game. And what I will say is this: the offense ran very smooth under Bill Lazor. I think we can all agree with that. I think that the play calling looked symmetrical. It looked like the plays fit together. Like the running would set up the passing would set up the running. Whereas before it was just kind of sporadic, confusing.
There was no plan to it.
Yeah, exactly. And the pocket wasn't moved around as much as I would like, but it was moved around enough to where Justin, that one play where they kind of moved him out a little bit and kind of rolled him out, and then he had 5 whole seconds to look downfield, and then he found Mooney for a 45. See, Bears fans, we just haven't had that, man. Even with Cutler, we really didn't get that. So it was really, really special, honestly. That's what I will say. There was moments in that game where we were watching Fields be like, whoa, this guy is special. And those are my initial thoughts of the game. I have a bunch of other thoughts in regards to, well, actually, I'll talk about the defense really quick. Just the offense, actually. That's my initial thoughts on the offense.
But you liked what you saw, right? Overall, you liked what you saw.
Yeah, everything. Everything was great from top to bottom. Completely improved. Literally everything. Defensive line, offensive line, or rather offensive line, game plan, all of it was better.
I would tend to agree with you. The overall performance definitely looked better. Definitely agree on the offensive side. They were fine. They realized Lazor, is that how you say his name?
I think it's Bill Lazor or Lazar, yeah, something like that.
So Lazar had a game plan, and it was the offense looked well executed. That's the best way I could put it. It looked well executed. You could tell they were setting things up. There was a plan. When Nagy calls games, it feels very scattered and almost like water buggish. You know what I mean? Where it's just dark, over here, over there. You know how water bugs they just dart all over the top of the water, and there's no planned direction, but they just go all over the place, right? That's kind of what it's like when Nagy, to me, what just from what I saw when Nagy would call games. When Lazar was calling a game, you could tell there was a plan. He was setting things up, and he did the best he could to keep Fields out of situations that would get him in trouble.
That's what I saw too. Exactly.
Ross, what do you think?
Well, I took a lot of positives away from it. I mean, again, I'm the guy looking at freaking Google Stats, but let's look at some positives here. I mean, 373 all-purpose yards. Not a bad day.
No.
Passing yards, 185. Coming from a rookie quarterback. Rushing yards, 188. You guys are averaging 6.5 yards a play, 20 first downs. I mean, I want to see some improvement in your third down efficiency, but again, 1 for 8 for a rookie quarterback ain't bad. And the thing you got to clean up is just the penalties and the single interception he threw. Single interception for a rookie quarterback.
And that was his fault, but
again, it's like
it's a rookie though.
He's a rookie though, so he's gonna make. He's a rookie though, so he's gonna make those mistakes.
You're gonna have a couple times.
Yeah.
And Mac Jones had similar issues. I mean, again, he had 1 pick and almost 1 other. You know, pretty gross.
So the next question I kind of want to ask you, JD, is we're gonna dive a little bit deeper into the whole offense type of kind of side of the football with the Bears.
Yeah.
Do you think Lazar should take the reins for the rest of the season?
Like as the head coach or just the play caller?
No, as the play caller, as the sole controller of the offensive play calling.
I'll take it a step further. I will say that I don't see a point or reason why, and maybe I'm wrong. I will say this, full disclaimer, maybe I am wrong, but I don't see a reason why Matt Nagy is the head coach anymore. And like, I am a guy who was maybe even just a few episodes ago was defending Matt Nagy and a lot of the things he made, or a lot of the decisions he made, the decisions he made, excuse me. But the thing with him now is he's looked like an utter fool. And now how can you kind of follow him? It's a little bit like Urban Meyer, but a lot less embarrassing. Like Urban Meyer, he comes back to that Jacksonville locker room. He looks like a weirdo. He looks weird. He looked weird. But so people are looking at you sideways with all the things that Matt Nagy has said in the last 3-4 weeks. He looks weird. If I'm in that locker room, I'm going to be like, why am I following this guy? This guy, one, he's the offensive genius, can't call plays. 2, he can't seem to manage his personnel. He gets pressured by other people, including the fan base with personnel. 3, he doesn't bring much, like for instance, like Sean Desai, he's the one who's running the defense. So if we know who's running the defense, it's not him. We know who's running the offense, it's not him. And he's just kind of like rattling off a bunch of nonsense in the media. Why is he the head coach anymore?
He does seem kind of lost as of late. I'll give you that. He does seem kind of like lost in the fray, doesn't it? Doesn't it kind of feel like that?
So he looks confused to me. I'm just like, what are you saying? Like, you don't know. I feel like someone else is making the decisions, and you're just a front man. So why do I need you? I don't know. Who's the real leader in the Bears? That's what I want to know.
What do you think, Ross? What do you think?
I just think Nagy shouldn't be on a football field. Like, I'm sorry. Look, for the first time when I was watching that portions of that game, it looked like there was a system in place, setting up the deeper balls, getting those, short yardage runs, and then hitting him with a pass. It seemed like there was something that was cohesive. Seemed like something like there was a plan involved instead of let's hang out fields to dry and let him sling. It just felt like there was more of a plan.
It did.
Again, that's just my personal feelings. It's just I like when teams set up the deep ball. I like when teams, okay, we got the run game going. That's what they're protecting. Great, let's hit them on the outside. Let's get a 20-yard pass off. I like that. And that's what I'm seeing out of the coaching now.
He didn't just quit on Montgomery after 5 runs. He's like, oh, we had 2 good runs and 3 bad runs. We're done. Let's just stop running now.
Dude, Montgomery.
Gotta keep pounding the ball.
The Bears offense actually looked like a well-oiled, well-orchestrated unit against. You know what I mean?
And when we got stuffed, we just did it again, run it again, and we got 8 yards.
I think that's what Lazar brings is that okay,
Patience.
kid, you got stopped for 2 negative yards, or 2 or 3 negative plays, but we're not going away from you. We're gonna stick with you because. So here's that perfectly transitions into the next question for me, for you, JD. David Montgomery's fast turning into one of you guys' best offensive weapons, and he's
the best player we have.
He is fast turning into one of you guys' best offensive weapons. The kid's averaging over 4 yards a carry, and they use him in the passing game. He's just a dynamic back, and I think the combination of Fields and him is going to be really, really, really dangerous for a lot of different football clubs that they face, because you have to respect Fields' abilities, and then I mean, I've been thoroughly impressed with Montgomery's production and how Lazar has integrated him into being able to be a nice little safety blanket for Fields as well. So what do you think about that?
Well, yeah, I mean, you said it. He's the safety blanket. He's the what I think of how I see him. He's the workhorse. You know what I mean? Like, we need to use him as the workhorse. I think Montgomery is a guy who can be a special running back in the league for maybe 3 to 6 years in this league. Like, he's not a superstar running back, but he's absolutely he's definitely good enough to where he can be a Pro Bowler. He can get you 12 to 1,600 yards from scrimmage. I believe he has that potential. So if we can ride that guy, make him our new Matt Forte, kind of just he's the offense.
That's funny. I was just gonna say that to you. I was like, he's kind of like a low tier Matt Forte
someday. Well, it's like Matt Forte was more of like a true, open field runner, I think. But yeah. I think I'd rather have Montgomery in between the tackles. You know what I mean? That when you don't have that much space, you kind of just burst right through. He's good at that.
He's very shifty.
And he can he can block.
Very shifty.
And I like he's got a lot of attributes that I like about him. He's a good player. So no question. Thanks, Travis. Thanks for watching, buddy. What's good? But yes, man, it is I'm excited. I'm excited about the running back position. We still need to improve the offensive line though. So
I got some things I got.
All right,
say about
so
that.
Ross, what's your opinion on David Montgomery? Because me and you talked about this me and Ross are fans, dude. I like how they're using Montgomery, and I think that he's going to be a huge asset to you guys.
It's a big test against the Raiders.
But you go ahead, Ross. Give us what do you got?
So let's get everyone my perspective clear. I come from a kind of a more coaching kind of put your players in the best situation to succeed. My biggest concern with Montgomery is, yes, they should lean on him, but 23 carries out of 60 plays, 50 plays. What was it? What we got for plays right here?
Somewhere around, I think it was somewhere around 60.
Plays.
I think they had 57. Yeah.
So my problem is that that's a lot of work on one guy. 23 carries, 106 yards, 2 tutties. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
The thing is that I would like to see that number closer to 15 and use that extra 5 in the receiving game, just because it's such a bruising position. Because you look at Montgomery, he had 23 carries. Damian Williams, the next guy behind him, only 8.
Yeah. The Rams game he was used really well, but they lost, and it's like that'd be a way to use him like 6.8 yards a carry, like you were saying.
Yeah, it's just my concern is with it when they start getting into the high 20s in the game or in mid 20s with carries, you start seeing injuries, you start seeing wear and tear. I mean, look at the Patriots. We lost Ramondre Stevenson, we lost JJ for a period of time, and then we had Harris out for a period of time. You can't expect to run these guys between 20 and 30 times a game and then expect them to be fresh for the next week. So
now he's out a month, so. You're
That's
right.
exactly. So
hey, hold on for 1 second. Let's pause the show for 1 second. We all enjoyed that Yankee beatdown. Fuck the Yankees. We all enjoyed it. Everybody in Boston loved that Yankee beatdown, Phil. That's not even a question. That is a statement. Yes, everybody in Boston loved the Yankee beatdown.
Again, I have a good story about it. We'll save that to the end if we have more time. But I do have an hilarious story about that game if we have time for it towards the end. So something for you guys to look forward to. But my last thing on the Bears in general, and Red Sox win. Great. Fantastic. I'm very happy. But I would very much like to see David Montgomery have his carries cut down, but maybe put him more into the passing game. And then with Allen Robinson, try to run a couple of running plays off of him, maybe an outside sweep. He's a big dude. He can do more than they're giving him credit for. And I think if they can move some of those carries over to, say, Allen Robinson, Williams, you're going to have better longevity out of your running core. That's just my opinion.
I agree with you. I agree. Like mix up the bag. And
it would also keep David Montgomery fresh too, which would definitely benefit you guys as well.
Well, and Damian Williams looked all right. Or is that his name?
No, he's not a bad runner. Dude, he's not a bad runner at all.
He looks bad. He looked all right.
But they only gave him the rock 8 times during the game.
Right. That's what I was saying. Like, he can get the ball more.
I was like, see them rotate better.
I agree. Yeah. No, I'm with you.
100%. Yes, it does, Roy. Fact.
I think we should get into that.
Absolutely made up for that. Facts. That's a fact.
Well, we can maybe preview the Raiders game, but actually, the one thing I want to say about the Bears, are we
Go ahead, dude. Make your statement.
Yeah,
You're
the Bears.
Good.
Yeah, with the Bears. So the defense, man. There was like a few moments on that defense, like during that game, and this is all I want to say about the defense. Like, I was like nerding out. I was like, dude, this is some old school Bears. Like, this is some dominate. Like, because this is the Lions, man. So I'm used to seeing this, and I love to see it again. I remember whenever we were at the goal line, they're at the red zone twice, and they just wreaked havoc on Goff, the defense. They're just all over him, and Goff just couldn't handle it, man. He just threw an interception, and then he went 3 and out the one time in the red zone. It was just like, it was great. It was so great. The defense, if not for the defense,
that was like old school Chicago D though. That was like old school Chicago D. They look good, man.
Dude.
They did look good.
The linebackers were all. Ogletree was insane that game. Like the fourth linebacker. Oh my God, he was all over the place.
10 tackles. 10 tackles.
Yeah, he was insane.
Some guys don't get that a whole season. He had 10 tackles and 2 assisted tackles. Essentially, he could have 12 tackles.
He's not even like the mate. Like he's like the one. He's like the floater. You know what I mean? Like, so that's amazing. He's not even in the middle all the time. So it's just like you were just all over the place, buddy. I loved it. Jalen Johnson too was amazing. He was great. Even better.
Again, you guys forced 2 fumbles, and you had 4 sacks on the day.
About that.
And how many almost sacks did you have during that game? He was running,
especially in the red zone. The red zone, it was just like they couldn't do anything in the red zone. The Bears were just like it was awesome to see. They were just pumped.
That's old school Chicago D. Stand tall in the red zone.
It was awesome. Yes. I loved it. So it was amazing. But it is the Lions. This is the real test right here. And I'm going to the beat-ups with my buddy. Shout out to my friend Schmitty. He's a huge Raiders fan, like the biggest Raiders fan I know. So we're gonna go there, and I'm gonna watch my team beat his team's ass, and he's gonna think his team's going to playoffs, but we're gonna play spoilers. So that's all I have to say about the Bears. Shout out to Ogletree. Shout out to what is his name? Vilva. I forgot his name, but that one D-back who's really good, who's kind of like underhyped. Jalen Johnson was playing amazing. Eddie Jackson's been back to par. So and obviously Mac and Smith. Everybody knows that. They're always playing good. So that's all I got to say about my Bears. Good win. It is the Lions, so we expected it.
But you guys did. But see, the important thing is Fields did what he needed to do.
He did.
The offense did what they needed to do, and the defense showed up and just they choked the life out of Detroit. Like it was a very good team win for the Bears. Both sides of the football contributed, and it was a really good team win.
Yeah, it was. And you can see the chemistry between, Darnell, Mooney, and Fields hang out and constantly all the time. That's always nice to see. You know what I mean? Like you got this young wide receiver and our number 1 quarterback hanging out. So I'm excited. The future is incredibly bright, especially on both sides of on the ball. Honestly, both sides of the ball, very bright, very young team. So I'm ready. Yeah,
definitely. So let's jump. Let's get back on the Up Yours New York Express.
Let's get it.
We're gonna take off and land that plane back in Boston here. and talk about the latest piece of Patriots news that dropped this morning. And that was the fact that Stephon Gilmore is no longer a New England Patriot. He is no longer with the Patriots. He belongs to the Carolina Panthers now. The Patriots getting back a 2023 sixth-round pick. Shocking. I was losing confidence that he would return every kind of week that went by. The longer the time that went by, the less confidence I had that he would be coming back. Now, I had said a couple of earlier on a few episodes ago, JD, remember I had said something to the point of where I didn't think it was really injury related. I think this was more of a contract negotiation ploy. And I think it was just too, I think Gilmore and the Pats just couldn't see eye to eye. I just think they couldn't see eye to eye. I think it was I don't think it's injury. I think honestly, I think Gilmore is fine injury wise. I think he's recovering fine, or he's even better. I think they put him in that spot to see if they could work negotiations out. And when it became clear to Belichick that him and Stephon and Gilmore weren't going to see eye to eye, Bill did him a solid and just, he let him go. He let him go to a different team. He let him go to a different team. And I just think like the NFL nowadays, dude, it's these guys realize that there's an expiration date on these guys, so it's, you see more and more nowadays, like business decisions start coming into play. Like Stephon put out a really good letter to the fans and letter to the organization. And it didn't seem like there was any ill will. It was just, I just think they couldn't come to an agreement. I think Stephon thought he was worth more money to, than Bill did. And they tried to work it out, and Bill just wasn't gonna, possibly Bill just wasn't gonna budge. Now you can add in the fact we're like the Patriots trying to trade him from the start, or maybe his injury was worse than initially thought,
or both,
or all three, or all three reasons could be considered. But to me, I just think it's a business thing. I think they tried to see eye to eye, and it just didn't happen. And Bill didn't want to like the same thing with Brady. Brady and Bill tried to see eye to eye, and it just wasn't going to happen. Brady and Bill were in two different spots in their mind frame on where the team needed to be, and he let Brady go. He let Stephon go. That's, I mean, Ross, I'll move over to you. What do you think? I mean, that's kind of just how I look at it.
So I have three major thoughts on this trade. So the first thing a lot of fans don't realize is contract negotiations are awful.
They're tough, dude. They're really tough.
And what we don't see, the behind the scenes stuff is that we don't know how stringent Stephon Gilmore's contract is. The problem being is that if he structured it accordingly, his trade clause could be his choice of team and whether or not he wants to be traded. So first and foremost, considering that he's coming back from injury, he's getting over his 30s. The sixth round pick is not great, but it's also we could have gotten nothing either. Next part is we don't have many trade partners in the NFL. So again, what we want to remember here is
not a lot of teams like us, Ross. Let's be realistic. Not a lot of teams are willing to because they know who we are. They know what happens to players that come here. Bill puts them in a spot to succeed, and they blow up.
Well, and here's the other issue is let's take money and contract off the table. Can we make our secondary work without Gilmore? Absolutely. We've shown it through multiple games. The secondary has not been the problem by any means. So we have a star player we can't afford, and at the end of the day, he's getting into his 30s. Like, I love Gilmore as much as anyone. I have a jersey of his. But at the end of the day, we need to establish trade partners, number one. Number two, we needed at least some sort of pick to bulk up our line situation. And the last point is we're making space for an acquisition. What we need right now, as Phil has said in the comments multiple times, and I think on other shows as well, is the fact we need a tackle, and we might need an extra running back to shore up with all the injuries we're just keep happening. Because we have JJ, we have Harris, we have Ramondre, and we keep having to cycle them out. I think there's a trade on the horizon that we needed that space for. And that opens us up to, what was it, 10 million?
I think it opens 10 million up in cap space for the Pats.
Yeah, including the 80 grand that we were under the cap space. So again, I feel like we're going to grab a middling tackle to help us get us through the season, since Trent Brown can't stay healthy for more than a week. So again, my point is
that dude can't pull a muscle. That dude farts and pulls a muscle.
So what I'll say to the fans here is, don't look at just the trade as the face value. There's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that are going to be a definite advantage for this football club. Keep that in mind as we go forward, because we weren't going to be able to afford him. We couldn't afford $20 million for this guy. We would have had to get rid of a bunch of pieces that essentially holding on to a player we don't exactly need right now. That's my opinion.
JD, what do you think?
I would say this, that if you take Tom Brady, the greatest player of all time, 7 rings, 6 with your franchise, if you take him to the fourth quarter and with 5 minutes left, you don't know who's going to win the game, then you probably don't have secondary issues. There's probably a chance that your secondary problems are they're minuscule at best. Because Tom Brady, if you have a bad secondary, he will exploit the shit out of it. So I will say that that Belichick looked at that and said, "Okay, all right, Gilmore, see ya. I'm not going to pay anymore. I don't need you anymore. My young guys clearly got this because you guys went to the wire against Brady, man. It was to the wire. So I don't see them having a problem. Yeah, J.C. Jackson. That's how I said that right, didn't I? J.C. Jackson.
Yeah,
he was great. He was amazing. Him and Evans were having battles, and then Brown and him. It was. Then he was in the middle he was bouncing all over the place. He was a player. So yeah, who needs Gilmore?
The secondary made the Tampa Bay Buccaneers look one-dimensional.
The Patriots secondary made it miserable for the Bucs receivers all night. They were all over him. They played great.
All they had was checkdowns.
It was a good game.
All they had was checkdowns, and that's the only way you can beat Tom Brady. We almost did. -1.
Oh, in the red zone too.
Yep.
Without Gronk, he was with that secondary without Gronk.
But they already have a solid tight end other than Gronk. You got that young big kid.
Catch for shit. He dropped like 4 passes.
Cameron Brate's a big
he was bad
though.
Yeah,
he was terrible that game.
But we were popping guys at the line.
Yeah,
we weren't doing it in any other game because they were hitting that young kid at the line and throwing him off his routes from the start.
Yeah, and he couldn't handle it.
We've been screaming about it, Bobby and JD.
Yeah. So
you're right.
So let's kind of stick with the Pats here, right? Let's stick with the Patriots. The Pats have got to continue this momentum that they have from the Bucs game. The great showing that Mac Jones had, the secondary once again stepping up. Just overall, they have to continue this momentum going forward. This is an important game coming up against the Texans because this is a team that the Patriots should beat. If they lose this game, Mac Jones, for his cause, has got to prove that he can go out, sling it, and win a game and have a good game. Just for this game's important for Mac Jones's confidence. They need this win for him. On top of it all, and they need the win for Jones's confidence. He's got to show out, and I want to see want to see the Mac Jones that I saw in the Tampa Bay game just roll completely into the Texans game, and like the same. I want to see the same game plan too. The tight ends were involved. That everybody. Jones was very Brady-esque, where it was throwing.
He was accurate.
He was throwing the football. There was no kind of favorite target. It was just a dart to whoever was open. It was a dart to whoever was open, which that is the key to a good court. It's you find the open guy and you just put a dart on it. You throw a dart to him and let him do his thing. And the touchdowns to Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith were perfectly thrown. They were great. Like, we have got to stay with that. Stay, with the tight ends involved in the game plan. And the Patriots need to beat this team by double digits or more, like double digit win, because the Texans are not a good football team.
They need to regain their confidence.
They are not a good football team. We should absolutely. The Patriots, even in a weakened form, with the line banged up and with the running back situation, we should still beat this team. But I'm curious to know what Ross and you think there, JD. That's my thought. So we'll go.
Away,
Ross, what do you think?
Well, can I take 2 seconds to answer a question by Bill Turtlette, excuse me, from 539?
Go for it. Yep.
So me and Bobby had this conversation. I got very depressed after the Orioles game with our pitching core and batting, and I was the first person depressingly saying, if we may not make the playoffs. I was again. I'm going to take that one right on the chin.
Hey, it happens.
Because honestly, like, I was looking at our pitching core, like freaking Garrett, like just choking games at the end, letting 4 runs in 1 inning. I was not at a good point at that point. I was completely wrong. They made it to the playoffs. They beat the Yankees at home. I am very happy for it, but I was thinking the worst at that point. So, Bill, you're absolutely right. I should not have doubted my Red Sox, but at the end of the day, I was looking at our pitching core, and it was painful.
It was tough. Like, it was tough though, because for the better part of the second half of the season, the bullpen was not good. Granted, they showed up last night, but that was the ill feelings were granted. They were warranted because of the performance prior.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll get into that for sure. We're definitely gonna dive into the Red Sox.
I just didn't want Bill to think I was ignoring his comment, because yes, I was completely wrong.
But I'm curious to know what you guys think about the Pats. What do you think there, JD?
So I'm glad Dante just joined the chat. So this is a game where his Houston Texans are facing your New England Patriots. Yes. And it's very interesting because they're both young teams. The difference is, I would say, that the Patriots kind of have a lot more put together at this point in time. If Tyrod Taylor was starting, which I believe he's not still, right? He's still out.
I think he's still out. I believe that is the case.
If he's still out, which I assume he is at this moment in time, I got 100% the Patriots to win this game. I think they're going to run the ball all over the field. It's probably going to be 150 yards running, and I think that, honestly, you talk about loosening the leash on Mac Jones. This is the perfect game to loosen the leash.
Yeah, let it all hang out and just try anything. Yeah,
throw it, man. Get an early lead, control the time possession, get 2-score lead, then just go wild with Mac Jones. Let him get some confidence in this game. Now, if it starts to go sideways, that could be very bad for the Patriots. If they end this, if the Texans play spoiler and the Patriots are 1-4, if I'm the Patriots, if I'm you guys, I'm hitting the giant red panic button. This is an absolute must win. You can't lose this game. And Dante says, "Yep, Tyrod Taylor's out, and we effing stink." And It is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not the Texans' year. Sometimes the Texans are a really, really good team. No joke. They really actually are. I don't know if the coach is right. I don't know if the quarterback's right yet. We will see in the future. But this year, the Texans are probably going to only win a couple games. And I think the Patriots, this is, like I said, this is an absolute must win. If the Patriots lose this game, that's 1-4. They're not making the playoffs. Zero chance they make the playoffs if they lose this game. Zero chance. So this is an absolute must win. What's your thoughts, Bobby?
Dude, I've already said this they can't lose. Like, this is probably one of, if not, this is one of the 3 worst teams in the league. We are definitely better. Even in a weakened state, we are definitely better than this team. We should absolutely demolish this team. And if we don't, it's a serious concern. That's all I'm gonna say. We should dominate offensively. We should dominate defensively, and then obviously, I mean, every aspect of the game, we should be better than them. And if we're not, it's
it needs to be a statement.
That's all I'll say.
It needs to be.
That's all I'll say, and I'll just leave it for Ross. But that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it real short. This needs to be a statement game. And like, I'm not saying no team has, any given Sunday a team can win, but based on what we're looking at talent-wise, roster-wise, and everything else, we really need to make this a decisive victory to show generally that we are going to be more than just a middling team in the NFL. We need to know that we can keep up with the teams like the Cowboys and, quarterbacks like Dak Prescott, because we got coming up soon on the schedule one of the best offensive teams almost in the NFL, and that's the Cowboys.
And see, that's a perfect transition too, because we can't overlook the Texans for the Cowboys. We have to beat the Texans first before we get to the Cowboys.
Yeah,
because I got a feeling that if we just can't do that. Like, we got to focus on the Texans. Let's take them, but the Cowboys, Ross, absolutely, that is one of the best teams in the league through 4 weeks now. They are one of the best teams in the league. They're good, man. Cowboys are good. Dak is a smart quarterback. The secondary is going to have to be on their game. And the defense, the front 7 for Dallas has played really, really good. So we can't get ahead. We have got to let's beat the Texans and worry about them, and then focus on because the real test starts next week with Dallas, and then we have a bunch of games after that Dallas game that are going to be very tough for this team.
Oh,
so
yeah,
we have got to win the games that we know we can win. But the Dallas is going to be a massive test for this team.
And now before you move on, can you just pull up Bill from 543 just quick, because this is directly towards you. I mean, I'll read it off for you, but Bobby,
go for it. Oh, Bobby, here we go. I got it.
Okay, good. So again, just to quickly cover, because we touched on, if I want to kind of get your opinion for him.
So
how do you? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Finish your thought, Russ. Go ahead.
No. I was saying, how do you think Mac Jones versus Dak Prescott in 2 weeks from now? What do you like based on what you've seen already? How do you see that playing out?
That's going to be the Patriot offense, and Mac Jones is going to have to keep pace with Dallas's offense, because Dallas is going to put points up. That receiving core, the 2 running backs, between Lamb, Gallup, and Cooper, and then you have Zeke, who is running in peak Zeke form, and the change of pace back, quick, shifty Pollard. That offense is going to put points up. It's Mac Jones's job to lead the Patriot offense down and keep pace. That's his job. So it's going to be a very interesting matchup, because the Dallas defense is finally playing up to its potential. And they've kind of figured some stuff out. Mac Jones is going to have to be the general on the field and keep pace with Dak. He's going to have to play. He's going to have to play point for point, touchdown for touchdown with him.
I don't even think Mac is even remotely in Dak's league. But here's why. It's not on Mac's. It's not Mac's. Okay, I see them as the same type of guy. You know what I mean? They're really strong pocket guys, very efficient, and they're guys with incredibly high potential, incredibly strong brains. They have a long way to go and a huge upside. But the thing is, Dak is like 3/4 there. He's already 3/4 to reaching his potential. You saw him just week 1. Dak was just insane. Like, I've never seen that Dak Prescott before, and he changed my entire perspective on how good he can be. So
that was the Buccaneers defense at full strength.
Exactly, and he was phenomenal. He was fitting the balls in places that I've never seen him fit before. That I haven't seen that many quarterbacks fit before. So he was very impressive. And I think that if Mac Jones does become somebody who is similar to Dak Prescott, or if he could be that efficient type of guy, that pocket guy, that reliable leader like Dak Prescott, he's like, again, he's year 1 Dak Prescott, which was dink and dunk, starting to sprinkle in little by little. I just think that it is what it is. You got to take your time with him. What do you think,
Ross? What do you got?
I mean, again, it's one of those games we're not going to know because, again, the only offensive powerhouse we've really played, let's be honest, is the Buccaneers. But we were able to keep Tom Brady out of the end zone, passing-wise. If we could do the same thing to Dak Prescott, we could run away with this game. We really could. I think our secondary is going to be kind of their Achilles heel to the Dallas.
The secondary is going to be really busy in that game.
Yep. So what I will say is, if we can contain the passing game and at least be reasonable about the running game with Ezekiel Elliott, I think this is anyone's ball game. I'm not going to say that Mac is up to Dak's level yet, but what I am going to say is I kind of like our offensive pieces a little bit better than Dallas's, at least for our style of play. I like our tight end core better. I like our running game better. And coaching, I think, is far better. Again, my personal opinion.
As of now, I got Dallas right now. In week 1, I had, when we were talking about it, we talked about the whole schedule. I had New England, so that's funny. I've gone back and forth, but right now I got Dallas in that game. If New England blows out Houston, maybe I reevaluate my thought. I don't know. It is pretty close though. I'm not going to say that it's definitive, right?
So before we kind of get out of the Bears and the Pats talk, I want to ask you one more question, JD, just to get your opinion on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got to do with the Bears.
The Bears.
The Bears.
Sure.
The Bears.
Yes,
so
sir.
The Bears officially announced that Fields they finally announced the starter. He's starting. They have said it. They've announced it. He will start. Should he just be the starter going forward and not should they just leave this alone and be like, yeah, he's the starter. Leave it alone. Like we're not we're not even entertaining this. He's the starter.
Yes, he's the starter. The fact that this is even a conversation shows you how dysfunctional and how weird the Bears are, especially Matt Nagy in this situation. Here's the thing. I'm willing to forget this whole little 5-week saga. I'm willing to go forward. Just forget it. All right, Matt Nagy, you're the coach or the leader, whatever. Maybe you have some scheme thing. Maybe, Bill Lazor and you work together well and he's just better. I don't really care. All I care about is the W. I just want the win. That's it. So if we can get more wins, if we can stack some wins, if we win against the Raiders, I'll be very happy. If we get blown out, I'll be very upset with Matt Nagy because he is on the hot seat. And no matter how much off the hot seat, no matter how much no matter how much success or unsuccess he has this season, he'll be on the hot seat because I just don't know what I get from him. Like I said earlier in the season, I was much more defensive of Nagy. A lot of Bears fans were coming after him and stuff like that. And I know we're talking about Fields right now, but I'll get into that point. the reason why I couldn't evaluate Fields right away is because of Matt Nagy. Is kind of where I'm getting at. I'll just round it out to that. Because of his instability, his constant media presence, his constant comments to ESPN or whatever, I don't know what I'm getting because he's sending all these mixed messages. He's pretending that Andy Dalton is clearly the better guy in practice. He's pretending that Nick Foles might be a better person. But literally every other coach, especially on the offensive side of the ball, is saying that Justin Fields is better. So he's on an island. He's alone. All the media, Chicago media, wants Justin Fields to start. All the coaches, all the offensive coaches want him to start. The players want Justin Fields to start. Everyone wants him to start except for Matt Nagy and Andy Dalton probably. So at this point, like I talked about it earlier, like why is he the coach? I'll kind of move past that. I just wanted to like reiterate all of that crap because that is a lot of crap for Justin Fields to overcome, which I don't know if he can overcome that. Like he has all this raw potential, but can he overcome this dysfunction?
They shouldn't even be entertaining that. Justin Fields should be the starter going forward. Andy Dalton is a dumpster fire, doused in gasoline, lit on fire, and it's floating down Schitt's Creek.
It's floating down Schitt's Creek.
Enough of that crap. Enough of that.
Of it.
The fact that you're even no, Chicago, no, Nagy, Chicago, Bears fans everywhere. No.
Furthermore,
Justin Fields is your starter going forward.
He is.
And that is that.
That's it. That's that. And like furthermore with that, there were certain throws that he made that I'm just thinking to myself, I'm just like, how could he not be the starter the whole time? Like Andy Dalton has never thrown the ball with that much velocity. Nick Foles has never thrown the ball with that, like that throw to Mooney. I know it was one throw, but that throw in the preseason too. These little flashes of greatness with his arm. I'm not talking about his legs. Forget his legs for a minute. Pretend he doesn't even run because he does. That's nice too. But like pretend he doesn't run. His arm is way better than Andy Dalton and Nick Foles. So this should have never been a question. Matt Nagy had this dream scenario where he puts him in just like Patrick Mahomes when he's already in playoff position with Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton's not that guy. This isn't that roster. This isn't that team. This isn't Alex Smith. This isn't that team. So, yeah, I agree. Justin Fields, good luck, buddy. You are the franchise. You're everything to us. We ride and die with you. We will choose you over Matt Nagy. If Matt Nagy gets fired and the next coach gets fired, that's okay. You're the quarterback. End of discussion.
And to answer that just to answer a quick question about Josh Gordon, that dude's going to be high as fuck by week 9 and out of the league. So that's that.
They need to stop testing for pot.
He's done. Josh Gordon's going to be out of the league by week 9.
End of story. Stop.
We're in week 5, right? Yeah. He'll be out of the league in a month. He'll show up to the Chiefs practice facility in a fishbowl, whatever he's got, and yeah, done. He's Gordon's on like chance number 15.
I don't understand it.
No,
I got done.
Now again, there was a couple points like back to the Pats on the Texans game. There's a couple things I want to see. I want to see the secondary hold out. I want to see Mac sling the freaking ball. We got to build from that Tampa game. And we need to get that stupid run game going. Oh, my God. It was painful not being able to see the rushing game set up the passing game. And we got to use these talented running backs. If the run's not working, use them in the passing game. Like, I'm sorry, but it's like all of our running backs that we have can't catch a football. There's not Sony Michel of, like 2017 when he was dropping balls. Like we got the talent, use it. So that was all I wanted to say on the Pats subject that we were covering earlier.
For sure.
So my next question is going to be for both of you guys. I just want to throw it out to you, and I want to get both of your opinions on it. So, the Miami Dolphins have $80 million in cap space.
Holy shit.
Right?
Wow. Did not know that.
From their previous draft movement, they have 2 first-round picks. So put this together: $80 million and 2 first-round picks. And with the current injury to Tua, who I think is not that, he's not there to start with. JD, Ross, if you're the Miami Dolphins, are you calling the Texans and asking for Watson? Would you entertain that or not?
I'll start with
Ross, and then we'll go to
Okay.
JD.
Oh, okay. I mean, again, like, the annoying thing is I don't want to see it because I don't want Watson in our division whatsoever unless he's playing for us. But that ship sailed, as we know. The Miami has $80 million in open cap space already, and then secondly, they got a first-round draft pick from the 49ers from the latest draft, and from what we know from news sources is that they have a leg up in negotiations with the Texans. Like, it's not looking great, but also, oh God, I just don't want to see it, man. I really don't want to see it. With the talent they got on that team, with an experienced, dynamic quarterback, it will make our division very difficult for us.
Definitely. What do you got, JD?
I mean, it's just hard for me to evaluate such things when I don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. Like, we have an idea that there was some sort of like assault that took place or some sort of
we don't know the whole
story though.
On what's
so
like,
is he going to go away? Is he going to go to prison? Is he going to lose all his contract? Like, I don't know. So it's hard for me to say, like, oh, trade for him. You know what I mean? Like, if it is just like, an embarrassing like Houston thing, and kind of like he has to reach a settlement, and
so let's do this then, right? Let's do this. Let's say hypothetically he's found. Let's say hypothetically he's found innocent.
Oh yeah, you trade for him in a heartbeat.
So I'll throw that in there.
Yeah.
So let's say hypothetically he's found innocent and he's cleared.
Yeah. Why would they trade him though? If he's innocent, why are they trading him?
So here's why they would trade him. For that one piece, they could get 8 or 6. They could get 3 draft picks.
He's been in trouble.
They could get 2 or they could get 4 players or 4 possible 2 players.
And I guess he does want out of Houston, huh? I guess yeah.
The haul that they could get for him would be worth more than what he is.
I mean, I would do it if I'm the Dolphins. I would do it, especially if he's like cleared of all wrongdoing or something like that, or if he even reaches a settlement. I would do it because, I mean, again, I don't know what's happening here. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard for me to say yes or no. But if he is cleared of problems, he's a talented guy, and you have a defensive coach, so you just need a good quarterback. Yeah, if you're the Dolphins, you want that guy 100%.
Why wouldn't you, right? If he comes to some sort of a settlement, or if he's found that nothing, or if they do like a continue without a finding or something like where it's like nothing, there's going to be no punishment on his end. Why wouldn't you if you're a team that needs a quarterback?
Yeah, you move cities and basically you move on. It all kind of goes behind you. It's in the past now, and you get a fresh start. Yeah. Now, if you mess up things over there, now you're just kind of out of the league. But at the same time, everyone deserves a second chance, I would say.
Yeah, my only last point I'll make on it is he has said he will not play for the Texans, even if he's healthy, even if things are done. So they have no option. Their only chance is to shop for the most amount of money and most amount of picks. Because again, they're in rebuild mode.
Who's gonna give them the most for him? Yeah, it's very disgruntled situation down there. Watson doesn't want to play for them. He's angry with how they've handled the whole situation. It's not a good. It'll be interesting to see how that unfolds, especially like you said, JD. If he comes to a settlement, or if it's cleared. If stuff is cleared, or he reaches a settlement and moves on, that like there's going to be teams lined up to talk to him.
over the years, I've developed this like callousness for these types of accusations, not necessarily sexual, but all types of accusations when it comes to athletes and any rich person, because I know that 9 out of 10 times it's usually just a person trying to get a cash grab from somebody, and it's not true. But clearly this one isn't going away. That makes me think something probably did happen here.
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
It's got to be something going on here. So I don't know. And since we don't know, it's hard for us to say yes or no. But yeah, again, if it's cleared, you want to lowball him too. I would say like 2 and a first rounder. That's it. Try to lowball the shit out of him. So that's what I would do if I'm the Dolphins.
Well, yeah, because you use the whole situation to your advantage if you're negotiating.
Yeah, I'd be like, well, this guy's got off the field problems, so why would I want him? I'll give you a first rounder though, and then if he turns out to be good, great.
I'll start with you on this one too, JD. Here's another one. Here's another whopper for you.
Let's get it.
Right? The Urban Meyer situation and the video that came out.
Oh no. Oh no.
Married dude, and he's got some hot little thing grinding up like that. Like if you're a married dude and something like that's going down, there should be like red alarm bells just going off around you. It should be like DEFCON 5 in your mind. But clearly Urban Meyer is a absolute disaster. So what are your thoughts on that whole situation going on down there?
To me, this goes beyond infidelity. This goes beyond he was married, he shouldn't be there, he shouldn't be with other women because he's married. It goes beyond that, because you are the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar business. When you're the NFL coach, you are essentially, or I guess you're the vice CEO. You're one of the top executives of a huge company. And how do you spend your free time? You're at a college bar getting grinded by some like 22-year-old chick. Really? And then, of course, and this is what blows my mind the most. Like, beyond all of that, you don't have the self-awareness to realize that we're living in 2021 where people can just pop their phone out and record you and put it on YouTube. Are you serious? And the videos
went viral. All the videos and the footage went viral in like an hour.
Urban Meyer's awareness is astonishingly low. It's astounding how little awareness he has shown in this situation. But I want to pass it to you, Ross, because that's all I have to say. It's just amazingly low awareness.
So, unfortunately, when you see college coaches come in the NFL, a lot of things are very different from them. They don't have a booster club covering every sin that happens.
Oh my God, that's true. That's so true.
I mean, again, let's look up any slew of stories from any Florida colleges back in the day with Shannon Sharp and these guys and the shenanigans they got up to.
Cringe.
These guys don't have any fears about their behavior. And then when they get to the NFL and they're under that microscope and they don't have a booster club, don't cover this story. That's where we get into it. And I think the thing that was the bigger problem with this, infidelity is a personal problem. But the problem is he was on company time and didn't take the flight back with the team and did this.
Exactly.
Is where, I swear, this CEO doesn't care that he had an affair or any of that crap. What he cares about is he got off the plane to stay in Ohio to flirt with co-eds.
Right.
It's bad.
What are you doing?
Making. And as me and Bobby have talked about, it's like that USC position is looking really good to him right now.
So I want to take this just one more little step further, and I'll start with you again, JD. Right?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
If one, this absolutely shows me that the dude was not ready for the NFL. He was not ready for the scrutiny, for the responsibility, for the leadership that was going to be asked of him. He was not ready for clearly not ready for it. Let's say he loses his next 2 games. Is Shad Khan, are they going to fire him, or should they fire him?
I mean, here's the thing. He does have a lot of credibility in that area. So the owners can kind of do whatever they want. Because if they did fire him at this point, they'd have something to turn to and point to and say, hey, he hasn't handled himself professionally. We can't keep him out here. He's supposed to be the face of our franchise. We can't keep him out here looking like making us all look like fools. But on the other hand, he is a huge part of the Jacksonville area. They obviously, from being the coach of Florida, bringing national titles there, he could probably lose for 5 years. And as long as the owner wants to keep him there, the fans wouldn't. I mean, the couple fans that are there won't say anything about it. They're not going to freak out too much and put too much.
The 17 fans that show up to Jaguars games.
17 Jacksonville fans wearing what is it?
Where six of them are wearing the opposite team's gear.
Yeah, exactly. Or they got David Garrard jerseys or something, or Maurice Jones-Drew, Yeah. So absolutely.
So,
no, it's yeah.
So Ross, should they fire him or so first of all, was he ready? He wasn't ready for this. That's how I feel. But do you think is his tenure salvageable here, or should they just cut bait and just move on?
Okay, so again, their record says a lot. So, as a man who's been in management for 20 years, I look at certain things. 1, decision making. 2, behavior, and last but not least, how is he within the framework of a team? Say it's like you're running a store or anything else. How does he work within that framework? My problem being is he's already made a piss poor decision by getting off a plane with his team and staying in town in Ohio to flirt with co-ed. Number 1. That shows
first of all, I don't mean to interrupt you, but what a stupid move. Move. Like, you're an NFL coach. Like, what are you?
You're a celebrity too.
Yeah, like
well known.
Stupid move.
Yeah,
everyone knows who he is.
It shows a lack of good decision making when you're not in that college atmosphere where you're completely, blanketed by, no one's going to talk back about you, to a place where he's under a microscope. And especially for this guy who's showing a terrible season. You got the number 1 drafted quarterback in the NFL draft, and you can't do anything with it. You got one of the best receivers in the league not catching footballs. You have an O-line that's Swiss cheese. His record is terrible. Again, I think he has some time. I don't think he's going to get fired for an affair, but he's going to get a stern warning about especially getting off that flight to spend time in Ohio. That was not a good decision. And as a manager, I'd be looking at him really closely for the next year or so, and whether or not I'm going to make a big decision on him come the end of the season.
Dude, no doubt. Here's the thing, right? It's that leash that he had just went from like a 10-foot nice little retractable leash to a freaking choke collar.
Mm-hmm. Again, it's you can't make that kind of piss poor decisions when you're representing an organization. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and here's the thing. So just to like end it, like you're an NFL head coach. You represent the brand too. You know what I mean? Like, you represent the team as a brand as well. And they're not going to tolerate stuff like they're not going to tolerate stuff like that. That's putting their brand in jeopardy and and possibly taking money away from that. Any good NFL owner is going to be like, bro, you need to stop that or you are out of here.
I agree. And this is a team too who, and I don't know how serious this is, but this is a team who has people are interested in this team for like London. London wants this team. They actually want to buy this team. So if you are out here looking like an absolute clown, like getting off the plane, then why would London, which is relatively dignified of a city, why would they want to buy this team? It doesn't make any sense. So that's another thing too. If you're the
But
owner,
that just
like,
adds to the reasoning why they that gives ownership another reason why they should be like, okay, bud, see you later, bye.
yeah, you want to build this team up into a winner if you're going to
Yeah.
sell it. Yeah, no doubt.
So
Interesting stuff, though. Definitely.
So let's kind of transition. Like, we're gonna stay on the quarterback topic, JD,
Okay.
and we're gonna start off with a quarterback that's red hot right now. Kyla Murray. Me and you have talked about him. We've talked about him on multiple episodes. That kid is lighting the league on fire right now. He is, dude.
No doubt.
He's playing incredible, right? Like, he is lighting the league on fire right now. The pace that he's on is just, it's like otherworldly, dude. They beat the Rams 37-20, and it wasn't even close. It wasn't even like that game was out of hand well before the end, the very end of the game. Like, the Cardinals put a beat down on the Rams, and the Rams defense is very, very good, and they dropped 37 on them. That's the Cards. Like, I've always thought for a long time that the Cardinals were like that bubble team where it was like, are you contenders or are you pretend, like, you know what I mean? Like, right on that cusp of being a contender or just being like, no, we see right through you kind of team. But dude, they're on pace. They're a good team.
For sure.
The defense, they play very good complementary football. The defense gives Kyla Murray short fields to work with, and he capitalizes. He's taking advantage of, like, they play very good complementary football, and Kyler's just, he's on another level right now. He's playing very, very
ridiculous. Well. He's ridiculous, and a lot of it has to do with pretty good to above average. I would say pretty good, maybe just solid O-line play, but mostly the DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green, Christian Kirk wide receiver. I mean, have we seen anything like this with the accuracy of somebody like Kyler Murray? Kyler Murray, and a lot of people, when they think of a running quarterback, they think of guys like Michael Vick, Lamar Jackson, who aren't necessarily the most accurate pinpoint throwers. But nowadays, we got guys like Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray, who are, I mean, they're not necessarily like running guys like Michael Vick. They're not reckless runners, but they move. They move that pocket, and they move you around, and they move outside the pocket, and they can pick up yards if you give it to them. But they are pinpoint guys, and some of those red zone throws, especially to Hopkins, are just like, his trust for Hopkins already in just 1 year with him is unbelievable.
It's stupid. It's
just
stupid.
throwing the triple coverage all the time.
He knows he can put that football within 6 feet of Hopkins, and he'll go get it.
Kyler Murray has evolved too since college. He is special.
Yeah,
he's special.
You want to hit this one next? You want to hit this one next, Bobby? Oh my God, Kyler Murray, the Kevin Smith of the NFL. You know, this 5'8" quarterback, just elusive, stupidly talented, giving me vibes of Russell Wilson of 5 years ago. You know, it is stupid. I mean, 24 for 32, 268 all-purpose passing yards, 2 tutties. And he was even there in the running game. They didn't overuse him with the RPOs. They gave him 6 carries for 39 yards. He was averaging 6.5 per game. I mean, he was third place amongst the running backs. You know, it's
unreal,
dude.
And
they're dynamic.
I give him a lot of credit for too. I didn't mean to. You know what I give him a lot of credit for too, as a kind of like hybrid running quarterback. He's tough as nails. He'll stand in there. He'll stand in there and take a vicious hit to deliver a ball to like Kirk or Hopkins down, like on a deep route. He'll stand in there and take a vicious hit in order to let a play develop so he can hit Kirk or D-Hop on a deep post or a deep cross.
Yep.
And you love to see it. I mean, you love to see how much he trusts his guys, how dynamic Murray is, and just how much he's grown in just such a short time. I mean, the sky is the limit as far as potential. He could win. I mean, they could win the Super Bowl this year. They really could. They are in the mix. They are a good team. They're in the best division in football, leading it.
I mean, for me personally, when I look at this, I look at 5 names that are linked with Kyler Murray, and it impresses the hell out of me. Chase Edmonds, James Conner, AJ Green, DeAndre Hopkins, and Max Williams. Like, combined, they have put more yardage on that field against the Rams than some teams did in multiple games. It is stupid.
It's ridiculous.
Like, dude, Chase Edmonds getting 10 yards a carry? Out of 12 carries, he had 120 yards.
Yeah, because they're so scared of the pass game.
And look at AJ Green and DeAndre Hopkins, like, and Max Williams, like 13.4, 16.8, 13.2. That's yards for every time they touch the ball. There's no reason not to win football games that way. There's none. And this is against the LA Rams. This is not against the Lions. This is not against the Jets. This is coming from one of the best teams in football defensively.
I think it's interesting too because Hopkins came from and Watt, but Hopkins came from Houston. Houston and Watt both left Hopkins, or they both left Houston. Houston now is like they got nothing basically.
In shambles.
And Cardinals are just stacked now. Like they're stacked with talent now. It's ridiculous.
It's
love to see it.
Yeah, dude. No, it's definitely like he's going to be fun to watch this year. He's a guy that they're gonna he's the type of player that's a draw. You turn a game on because he's playing in it. That's
that's
what he's growing
enough.
into.
Yeah, definitely. I want to watch him. Definitely, he's a great player.
So let's go from one quarterback who's red hot to one who has shit the bed. And let's talk about the shell of a quarterback known as Ben Roethlisberger down there in Pittsburgh. He doesn't look good, man. I'm not gonna lie. He looks like a shell of his former self, and I think this has got to be his last year, and he does not look good. The ability, I think, for him to see the field and read a defense is definitely declining, because he's been fooled in multiple games, and just the I don't know. I think we are witnessing the end of Ben Roethlisberger. This season, I just the offensive. I mean, it's a multitude of reasons that's not helped. The O-line is not very good in Pittsburgh. They're very porous. They're extremely weak around the edge. So that doesn't help an aging quarterback. That's kind of in the twilight of his career. Like I said, there's a combination of things that just don't bode well for him. I just think he's losing it. I think the skill set is just declining. He misses wide open guys. He's overthrowing. The chemistry with his receivers just isn't there. The offensive line isn't good, so the run game's not there to help him. It's just it's not good in Pittsburgh. They're offensive wise, they don't, and then and then when you don't have a good offense, you lean too heavy on the defense, and when you do that, you see what happens. They hold up for a certain amount of time, but you can't rely on one end of the game, fully, because you crack. By the end of the third quarter, the defense for Pittsburgh in all of their games has just been, they've been gassed, and they have nothing left in the fourth, and these teams just end up beating them because they run out of fuel. They run out of gas. But what do you think, though, JD?
What I would say is, specifically, I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to call out Ben Roethlisberger. This is full out. I'm just going to say this because he's full of crap. He's full of crap. He's been full of crap for about 6 years now. And this is what I mean when he talks to the media, he's full of crap. And it's weird because his coach is the exact opposite. Mike Tomlin is he's the best at the podium. I love listening to Mike Tomlin because it's immediate, it's straight to the point. Here's what we did wrong. Here's what we did right. End of discussion. Write your story. But Ben Roethlisberger, he's all over the place. He likes drama. He likes to feel like he's special. And in reality, he's not special. He is a Hall of Fame quarterback. He is borderline, but he is. I'll give it to him. Let's take it back. Let's rewind a little bit real quick. Back to 2017 or 18. There was a moment in time where Ben Roethlisberger had this golden opportunity to keep Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell. They asked him, hey, Ben, you're getting a little older. We know you're still great. You know, you're still a good player. We're not trying to say that. You still got another Super Bowl in you, bud. But can you do what Tom Brady did? Because here's the thing. Ben Roethlisberger was notorious for saying, Tom Brady's the GOAT, man. Tom Brady's the greatest player I've ever seen. I love Tom Brady. Everything he does is so great. But I won't take a pay cut like Tom Brady to save my number one running back. I won't help save a few of my offensive linemen. I have to keep on eating that salary cap. And then finally, when he has a terrible season last year, he finally goes, all right, guys, I've decided to sacrifice for the team, guys. All right. And it's probably because the agent's like, bro, they're about to get cut. Like, if you don't take a pay cut right now, you're about to get cut.
This is your last year.
Yeah.
This is your last year, MFer. Get used to it because you out of here.
Yeah, you're gone. When they knew, okay, let's say Ben Roethlisberger was like, no, I'm making $35 million this year. Go fuck yourself. You think the Pats or the Steelers aren't going to cut him? I'm cutting him and taking that $18 million dead cap, 100%. Because screw this guy. I could take that $15 million and get it somewhere else. Instead, he takes a $14 million contract or whatever it was, 14 to 18, whatever it is. Something like that. Anyway, sorry, I ramble a little bit, but yeah, I'm hating on him a little bit.
Oh, man. Bobby, you want me to take this one next?
Cool. Hey, Ross, all you, brother. I just wanted to get you guys' thoughts on it because to me, he's a shell of himself, and he should be. They should sit his ass on the bench from this point on.
Yeah, I mean, my problem is that we're looking like let's go simple, okay? Ben Roethlisberger, 26 for 40, 232 yards, 1 tutty. Okay, now considering that's not bad, but you have rookie quarterbacks that's doing that and more right now. So, problem number one. Problem number two, look at this lineup he has to work with. Juju, Najee, James Washington, Deontay Johnson. There is more to the story here than just the stats on the players. Look at third down efficiency. They're 4 for 11. They ran 58 total plays. They punted 3 times, which is not terrible, but they also allowed 2 sacks. I mean, again, they lost 2 fumbles and he threw an interception, and their time of possession was almost 10 minutes less over the course of the entire game. So they couldn't control the game. The Ben Roethlisberger, a slow pocket quarterback, is being hounded most of that game, and they took one of your best players out of the game. I mean, is there any game where Juju Smith-Schuster should only get 2 receptions? Are you kidding me?
I wouldn't think so, but I mean, he's been inconsistent himself. But that's the thing. Maybe that all reflects on Ben. It's just it's really hard. It's hard to tell when everyone. I
just think it's a giant combination of everything, and it's finally come crashing down on him. That's what I think.
Yeah, it's pain because I feel for a lot of Steelers fans out there because it's just, let's be honest, they're almost a quarterback away and an O-line away from being a really solid team, but consistently they hold on to Ben. They keep getting him weapons, think it's going to be his final season. They don't address the O-line. So at the end of the day, they got very talented weapons, but no O-line to protect their slow old quarterback.
Thank
you, Luke.
This one wins comment of the day.
Oh my God, Luke.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, he looks just like that.
It's lethargic. It's just I just think the skill set's declining. I think we're seeing the last season of Ben, and the skill set is definitely on the decline. I think there's, like I said, there's a couple of different factors, but it's just he's just not the same guy. He's not the same guy.
Most Steelers fans wanted to get rid of him like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
You know?
I just don't know what you'd replace him with. That's my only problem.
Well, they're going to have to draft a quarterback this year. They're going to have to draft his replacement this year.
Or they're going to have to go dance with the devil and try to go after Watson. You know what I'm saying?
Go after who?
Watson.
Oh, yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't. The Steelers, I don't think are going to make the playoffs for a little while, especially in that division. I don't see it happening.
All right, so this is my favorite. This is my favorite part of the night. This is where we get to shit on the New York Yankees and talk about the Red Sox. Man.
Get it?
No, but in all. So here's I saw an excellent quote on Twitter earlier, and it said it was from a Red Sox fan, and it said the two fan bases. There are assholes and idiots between the two of us in both of our fan bases, the Red Sox and the and the Yankees, right? There's idiots in both sides, but for the most part, I had a lot of fun chopping it up with Yankee fans on for the most part. It was always, it was fun chopping it up between the two of them, especially Shukri. Shout out to him. Shukri writes, we had him on the show earlier, but shout out to him.
By the way, following this podcast, we'll release that edited version of your baseball conversation. Anyway, continue,
cool.
Man.
So, but it was a lot of fun chopping it up with them. And he said basically even though there's idiots and assholes between the two of us, we have for the most part, it's just chopping it up and having fun and going back and forth with each other. And we're going to fight. We will fight forever. Red Sox and Yankee fans will fight forever. And that's the fun of it. We'll fight forever. We will hate each other from now until the end of time. There is in no way, shape, or form we will ever get along. And I am here for that. All of it. It means the rivalry between the two of us stays alive. That's what I'll say about that. Now, let's just get into it. So, Ross, I want to get your thoughts on the wild card game, man. So I'll start with you. Like, just lay it out, dude. What do you got? We got.
Well, to kind of cycle back when Bill was talking to me about getting down on the pitching core, they did everything I asked them to do. The pitching core was solid. Eovaldi played his brains out. Like, my God. Like,
he pitched his ass off. It was great.
Again, how many times do you see in games where you're not seeing Judge being a big factor in the game? You know what I'm saying? Like, look at Aaron Judge. 4 at-bats, only 1 hit. Nothing going on. The only 2 that had any presence in the game was Rizzo and Giancarlo. We took one of their best players out of the lineup legitimately. I can't ask more than that from the pitching staff. Like, my biggest concern this whole season has been the pitching. And the pitching came up big. I was wrong. I was so worried that we're going to bring in Joe Dirt stunt double and he was going to lose 4 runs in a single inning. You know, I try not to be pessimistic all the times, but it's just like I've been burned too many times by this pitching core.
No doubt.
No, I'm with you, man. It's
hard not to be, huh?
I was just gonna say it was like with the way the pitching staff performed, it was tough to not really be, a little concerned going into that game, especially not with the starting pitching, but with the bullpen.
Oh, absolutely. You know,
I had a feeling Eovaldi would pitch well because he does. He pitches well for big games. JD, again, the foot. Look, again, the second. Look at this. The second
Oh
time.
my God! Wow.
Licking his balls
First
again.
episode 1, and now episode 14.
He's licking his balls again on
Diesel
live
leaks
television.
back to back.
Really?
Wow.
Really, guy? Really?
This guy. 2
This
out of
guy
our
right
14 episodes. Diesel. He just can't help himself. What up, Pat? What up, Coach Plays? What up, everybody?
What's up, Coach Plays? What's up,
What up,
Pat?
Ross?
What up,
Coach
guys?
Dante?
So let's just continue. I mean, since we're Red Sox fans and this is my show, let's just hammer the Yankees just a little bit, and we'll poke and prod just a little bit. So we let's just say this before we get into like harassing some Yankee fans. The pitching staff was great last night. Alex Cora was phenomenal. He managed that game perfectly, taking guys out when they should. Just the overall management of the game. When he said enough's enough with Evaldi, it was as soon as he started to crack just a little bit, even if it was just a little bit. He gave him all the room he needed, and he performed perfectly right up until the moment. And Cora was like, all right, man, he got those back-to-back hits, and it was perfectly timed. They took him out. I wanted them to put Robles in, and they did. And Robles, when he's on and he's throwing well, he's tough to hit because he just that the fastball that he's got is 98 to 100 miles an hour, and he can locate it on the corners when he's throwing well. And most of those fastballs don't get hit out of the park because they're up and in, low and away. They're these bloop line drives or just these soft grounders. They don't get hit hard because of how fast that ball's moving. So I thought that was perfectly done. And then just the Red Sox hitting, man, they cranked it up when they had to. And it was the reason why the Sox beat the Yankees were the Yankees are an all or nothing team. They are an all or nothing team. They would rather, and this is what the Yankees problem has been for years. They would rather sign guys like Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton, aka Mike Stanton, you schmuck.
Big hitters, right? Big name hitters.
So they would rather sign guys like that, the big shiny new toy that can every 1 out of 15 at bats hit a home run, right? 1 out of every 15 at bats hit a home run,
right?
Over the guy who hits 290 to 300 and bats in 90, and has 90 RBIs batted in, and it can actually help a team put runs across the plate and win games. That can generate runs. The Yankees are obsessed with staying relevant with big names like that over a guy who can actually contribute to the team. And that's been their issue. I think they know deep down that they're like right on the cusp of being being a really bad team. And they're doing everything they can to just it's like somebody, it's like a sinking ship, man, and you're just grabbing for anything to help keep you afloat. That's how I think they've been for years. And a big part of it is that they have to get upper management to take responsibility for it. Like Cashman, it has that mentality. They got to get him out of there in order to change that culture. But that's the Sox played phenomenal, both sides, offensively and defensively. They came to play. It was in Fenway. It was electric. The atmosphere was there for the Sox, and they chased. We'll get into crapping on the Yankees later, but the hitting showed up, and they did what they had to do to win. But I'll go to you, Ross, but that's just my initial take on this. I'm curious to know how you look at it.
Again, with the Yankees team, they have a whole lot of talent, but the inability to use it whatsoever. So again, you could buy all the talent you want, but if you have a structure in place that doesn't put them in a way to succeed, you're going to go 10 years without making it through the playoffs. And that's what we've seen from them. Buying power doesn't necessarily mean championships. So let's kind of move off on that. It's just like the batting. My God, the batting. Schwarber and his consistency against Garrett Cole. My God. Like,
Schwarber's been hitting Garrett Cole and making his life miserable ever since he was a Chicago Cub.
like again, I want to do that little shout out because again, we have a fond love for the Cubbies just because our boy Theo and everything else going over there. But it's also Schwarber. You know, like Schwarber, like he came in here, you thought, oh, he's gonna be a good pickup. You know, he'll get some hits for us, and he's become our like one of our best players on our team. It's amazing to see when you see someone like Garrett Cole just getting trounced, and he was just one of the up and coming stars of the MLB. What's your thoughts on that, Bobby?
So let's read into this. So JD, I want to get like an outsider perspective, just to ask you. The Yankees spent $324 million on this guy, right? For 9 years, $324 million.
Yeah.
You figure a guy at that price should be able to elevate his. You spend that amount of money on a guy who's going to walk in there and pitch 8 shutout innings against the Red Sox and absolutely put his foot down there on their throat. And that's what you pay that money for. That guy. That's what you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Garrett Cole has over and over and over again with this massive paycheck left them hanging. Like he's in no way, shape, or form lived up to that contract at all. You pay the big money to those guys that when they're put in that kind of moment, like that wild card game where it's a must win, he'll pitch seven shutout innings and have 10 Ks.
Since the year 2000, though, how many Yankees, especially the pitchers, have actually worked out? Like the big free agent names. Like, okay, well, let's say, they work out for like a year or two. And then it seems to kind of just slowly, because they get the big money. They get the Yankee money. Mm-hmm. So they don't care as much anymore. It's not as much of a big deal. Even Clemens and Pettit, they ended up moving on.
Yeah.
So I look at this as just one of those guys. They pay him huge money. They've wasted billions of dollars on this stuff in the last just 15 years. Not just pitchers, hitters too. Guys that performed really, really well, and they got their big paycheck, and they come to the Yankees, and they don't perform near as well. And then it's peculiar. It's very strange. Garrett Cole, though, I mean, that's the thing. Yeah, he got the big paycheck, and then he failed. So it is what it is. The Yankees got to cross it up, and they lost their biggest rivals too. You pay them the big money to beat the rivals.
They can't get rid of this. Like a 9-year, 324. Like
nope,
you can't just get rid of that. You know what I mean?
The A-Rod contract.
They have to live with this contract for at least probably 3 or 4 more seasons.
Have to. Yeah. At least I was gonna say at least 4 or 5 because like how are you gonna get? How could you even get out of it at that point? You almost have to.
Oh, we got internet.
And JD must have hit the duck, and he's gone.
Interesting point. While he's off, pull up Raj Mathal from 639.
He's back from the dead.
My bad. I don't know what happened. I think I just got kicked. But anyway, I was going to say you might have to pitch him even if he goes to the minors. That's all.
Yeah.
Yep. And before we move on from the Yankees subject, grab Raj Mathal from 639.
Yeah.
And I'll read it off for you to make it easier. Does the Yankees remind you of the Chiefs with their ridiculous offense but defense, which is so bad? I know the Chiefs don't buy their team. I was just wondering. My opinion, when I put in the chat is like partially true, but the Chiefs can actually make the playoffs.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
exactly.
The Yankees, not so much.
$1 billion roster can't make the playoffs. That's not good.
All right. So, JD, I want to get your thoughts. I'm going to ask you just a series of questions, and then we'll finish off the show with. I got a few things I want to ask you, and just get your thoughts on, man.
Sure.
So the Bulls. Let's kind of move it over to some NBA stuff, right? And from the Bears to the Bulls, because there was a poll taken by NBA.com, JD, but from every GM in the NBA. And guess which team got voted most improved? The Chicago
The
Bulls.
Bulls.
The Bulls got voted, and this is by NBA GMs. So that's all they talk to is the GMs of each team, and they said which team is the most improved, and they said your Chicago Bulls. The second thing is, with that so not only were they voted most improved, but that preseason game that they played against the Cavs, it seems like those moves are paying off, dude, because they looked great. Chicago, if that's how they're gonna play, 131-95, they beat the Cavaliers. That's an ass whooping. That is
it was huge
beat down. And Lonzo Ball is gonna be, if he plays like that, he's gonna be a problem for that league.
I have a lot to unpack here. A lot that I want to unpack. The first thing I want to do, let's start from the meta. What a franchise to resurrect, man. Like, my God, we're talking about a top 3, top 4 brand in this league. Like, if you can get the Bulls to the playoffs, you're talking ratings up the ass, dude. If we're even remotely relevant, people tune into the Bulls, man. That's just a fact. It's like the Knicks, the Bulls.
The Bulls are a draw. They are a draw.
It's the red, man. It's the Bulls. It's the Bulls. Anyway, so we unpacked that so that we understand the brand of the Bulls. It's funny because Lonzo actually just said this morning, or is either this morning or yesterday after the game. He said that it hasn't hit him yet that he's a Bull. It hasn't fully sunk in that he's a Chicago Bull. He shares a lore with Michael Jordan. So that hasn't fully hit him yet. And here's the thing. He is, in his own right, a fantastic player. I don't think he's ever been fully given a chance to develop, and he hasn't been given the keys to the castle ever. Point and case. First year in this league, you saw him slowly kind of come into his own. LeBron comes, boom. All of his development is gone. He's immediately turned into a role player. Then he gets shipped off to New Orleans, which he does get better every single year in New Orleans. So there is some development.
I'll give him credit there. He did improve. Every year in New Orleans, he showed improvements.
From his free throws to his shooting to his defense, all 3 improved dramatically, and those are things he needed to improve on. His passing was always phenomenal, but then he gets to Chicago, and this is a guy in Zach LaVine who they've been talking in the offseason. The Sports Fury had talked about it, and I've been looking into it a lot too. They've been talking a lot in the offseason about playing together because Zach LaVine needs a guy who can set him up, man. Zach LaVine is a high flyer. He's a scorer. He's a shooter. He's everything. He needs a guy to just get him that ball with open space or an open shot. And nobody, honestly, there's like only maybe 2 or 3 guys other than Lonzo Ball I'd rather have in this league to get you open with the ball. Get you open with the ball. I'm not saying Lonzo's the best point guard in the league. I'm talking about getting you in position with an open shot. It's like Chris Paul's probably number 1. Maybe LeBron's number 2. There's probably 2 or 3 more that I'd take, and then it's Lonzo Ball. He is elite at that. And LaVine has never had that guy, ever. He's never had that when he was with the Timberwolves. Never. He was like one of the point guards. So it's beautiful to see Lonzo alone come in and take this down. And then my favorite thing with Lonzo, and I'll wrap up my Lonzo talk really quick. My favorite thing with Lonzo is when Lauri Markkanen got the ball. They threw him the ball down to the block. They said, Lauri, all right. And he's got Lonzo one-on-one. All right, Lauri, take it to the ball. All right, Cleveland. All right, Cavaliers, right? Nah, dude. It's the Bulls, bro. Lonzo Ball bullied the crap out of Lauri Markkanen and made him look like a chump. And I'm not trying to embarrass Lauri, but it was nice to see our new free agent just kind of dominate our old guy, just like dominate him, dude. I'm like, bro, our guard –
Lonzo's defensive ability should not be underestimated. He's a very good defender.
It's elite. Mm-hmm. It's elite. And here's the thing. If Patrick, we talked about this, and a video just came out on my channel about this. We talked about this with the Sports Hero. If Patrick Williams comes into his own, becomes a star, we are one piece away from a championship. If Patrick Williams is a remote star, even just a semi-star. You got Lonzo, Levine, and him with Vucevic. Honestly, that might be a championship team right there. We'll see, depending on how much of a star he is.
You're definitely going to be it. You're definitely going to this year. I'll say this: this year, you're definitely going to be able to push some of these better teams in the league with the improvements that you guys have made.
It's playoffs or bust this year. We have to make the playoffs this year. If we don't make the playoffs, something went wrong.
I think you guys are absolutely capable of making the playoffs. Like I said, with the improvements that you've put on the team, your GM AK there has went out. The Bulls have had a sneaky good offseason, dude. Like I have a feeling they're gonna surprise people this year. The Bulls are gonna surprise people this year with how much better they are on the court.
Lonzo gets people in the passing mood too. I love to see that in that first preseason game. Everyone's like pass. Loved it.
Well, what I was watching some of the film and just the highlights of that. Lonzo sets he sets the tone. That first pass from him is he just sets the tone, dude. The Bulls are going to surprise people this year. They move the basketball around dude, I want to say at least 5 times better than they did last season. Just the movement of the basketball around the court, and it doesn't matter who it is. Who's ever got the open shot takes the shot.
And it is just one game, but like you could see a lot in that one game. That was a game where you could see a lot, and it was a preseason game, but like you could just see, whoa, that's different. Well, that's new. That's brand new. So that was special. And my favorite thing, the final thing I'll say about the Lonzo Ball thing, and we can keep talking about the Bulls if you want, but like the final thing I'll say about Lonzo Ball thing, the best thing we got in this acquisition was LeVar Ball.
Mm-hmm.
LeVar Ball. Let's go. Never lost. Let's go. We're gonna get a championship. Never lost. We gotta get LiAngelo and LaMelo here, man. That's what it is. Then we'll really be winning.
But in all seriousness, though, I think the Bulls really are going to surprise people this year. I think they made a lot of smart acquisitions. They looked at a need, and your GM there said, how can we address this need? And not only how can we address it, but address it and not like crush ourselves in the process.
Feel like a
because
permanent
they were able
thing.
to make one move and then another move and another. And you know what I mean? It was smart. It was smart acquisitions.
Did you see Caruso got 10 assists?
Yeah. Dude, Caruso off the bench is going to be, dude, he is going to be great for you guys.
Yeah. You mind if I make a quick little comment on this?
Go for it.
Okay, so Cool Genuine Phil brought up a good, interesting thought about the Bills and Celtics. Will be battling for the number 3 seed. How great would it be to have that Celtics Bulls kind of rivalry again? Dude,
that's what I'm saying.
That just makes money, and it's highlight film. It would be so great just to see these two teams kind of going back and forth like back in the day. It's going to create so many good games. I'm excited.
Even in the 2000s with Allen and Pierce and Luol Deng and what's his name? Damn it, the other guy, the guard that we had that was really good. Anyway, that team. Oh, those were some series, man. So I'd love to see it. The red and the green, man. That's a series.
Nothing but good is going to come from the resurrection of the Bulls. Like if the Bulls go back to the playoffs as like the 4th seed, 3rd or 4th seed, bro, like nothing but good can come from it.
That's it, because it's just good for the NBA. Like you saw the Knicks. The Knicks came back, and here's the thing. I get it, Knicks fans. I'm sure there are like at least one of you guys in the chat because there's a billion Knicks fans. But like the Knicks came back to the playoffs, right? They had a show. Derrick Rose. It was interesting. It was special. But just because they got dominated by Trae Young, and Trae Young, it was kind of this coming out party, it was still nice. It was still great to see that orange in the playoffs again, to me.
Yeah. The Bulls are going to be bad, dude. They're on the up and up. They're going to be a good team. Like I said, they made smart acquisitions. It was
Lonzo is a sleeper for most improved player this year, in my opinion. Sleeper.
They're going to surprise people. They will. I'm telling you, they're going to surprise people. It's going to be a good year for them. And like it's not. There's nothing better than getting a franchise like that back to where they well deservedly should be.
And and I think that like if we want to make the playoffs, like if is that something I
thank you for the PSA, Ross.
ESPN is now running. Damn.
I got
wrecked. That was a good one. That's a good meme. That's a good meme.
I believe that gentlemen, I think that's going to conclude the show.
Sure.
I think that's all we got for today, I believe.
Great show. Man, so many great topics. Holy crap.
But once again, guys, me, Ross, and JD always appreciate the support. Always fun interacting with you guys in the chat. So, JD, the stuff will be up on iHeartRadio. This episode will be up on iHeartRadio. As usual, the chopped up version, guys, all the different segments are going to be on I-90 Sports Talk, which is JD's YouTube channel.
Yes,
if you want to just listen to a specific segment, all of them are there. They're all chopped up. They're cut up nice. There's so it's like the edited version of the show. So if you don't want to like fast forward to a certain segment and you want to share a certain segment with somebody, you can go
like Joe Rogan clips and stuff.
Subscribe to that channel just so you have it. But so that's where all that's where all of the edited stuff is going to be. Thanks again, Ross, for coming on and hanging out with us, buddy.
You, Ross. Always good to see you, bud.
I'm a producer at heart. That's all I am.
Hell yeah.
With bad opinions.
We gotta get you a channel to plug on these clips.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You guys are the stars. I'm just here to help you.
All right, on, brother. Well, we do appreciate it. Always good to hear from. Always good to talk to you.
Always fun, guys. Always fun.
But thanks again, guys. So as usual, if you're listening to this on iHeartRadio, the live show is broadcast on YouTube. It's on Beantown Breakdown. You can interact in the chat. You can come. You can ask us. Come in the chat. Ask us questions. We'll answer your. We'll do the best we can to answer. We do the best we can to answer everybody's question and interact with the chat as much as we can. But you can do that, guys, if you want to be a part of the live show. It's on the Beantown Breakdown channel.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, that's
gotta get you to 5,000.
Yeah, that's where the live that's where all the live show is broadcast. It's over YouTube. So if you guys want to be a part of that, come on over and hang out and we look forward to seeing you. But as always, all of the support is always greatly appreciated by all three of us, guys.
Oh, absolutely.
Ross, JD, and myself. We
absolutely
thank all of you guys and fully understand that without the fans, we wouldn't be able to do what we do, man. It's all them. It's all them.
The interaction,
the reason of why the success has been the way it has. But thanks again, guys. We appreciate y'all, and we will catch all of you on episode 14, right?
Wow, yeah, 14
next time on the I-90 Sports Podcast. And as
Road
always, and it's the best time of year now because it's October. So we're gonna say go Celtics, go Bruins, go Pats, and go Sox. JD, hit them with it.
Bear down. The Bulls, Windy City Bulls, and man, we got everything coming up this October, man. We got everything. This is hype. This is super hype.
Let's go, boys! Great show.
Okay, so
Tear
let's
the
just
fuck
end the
down.
show with this, right? It was a lot of fun going back and forth with the Red Sox with the Yankee fans, but here's a massive one of these for all of you. I hope you all enjoy watching from the couch. Grab your popcorn and get ready for the Sox and the Rays series because it's about to go down.
And I got to remind you guys before we get off the stream, I'm going to release the edited version of the conversation that Bobby and Shook Your Rights had about the Yankees and the Red Sox as well, right after this as a bonus.
Nice.
I shall release it right now.
Special shout out
It's
to Sugar
released.
Rights though. That dude is a lot. He's a riot. He's one of our friends of the show, and it's a lot of fun interacting with him on just the different social media platforms. He's a Yankee fan. He's one of the class act ones though. He's a good dude. So shout out to him. But thanks again, guys. Ross, JD.
And shout out. Yep. And
Go
shout
ahead.
out to JD for all the editing magic. Thank you so much.
For all the editing, Matt. Absolutely.
Hey, I love to do it.
JD's got the editing skill, so shout out to him for that.
I do what little I do. I appreciate it, boys. Hey, wouldn't do nothing without you guys.
But thanks again, guys. We love y'all. We appreciate all of your support, and we will catch you next time. Go Red Sox. Let's go.
Bear down.